Hello, this is CurtisCroweThePhotoPro here, and today we're going to talk about something a little bit more casual, and that's how to separate your work life from your personal life as a photographer. Now, I get invites all the time to do certain things for family or friends, and they're like, oh, go ahead, bring your camera, it'll be great. And it's like, I just want to spend time with you guys. I don't want to be on the job. And that's something that you can't feel bad about telling them. If you have an uncle that's a plumber, for example, you don't ask him to unclog your drains while he comes over for your kid's birthday party. No, because he's not on the job. Now, there's nothing wrong with if you're a hobbyist and you do want to bring it, but you got to let them know, listen, sure, I'll snap a few shots, but you know, I'm there as a friend, or I'm there as a brother, I'm there as a father, or I'm there as whatever. There's nothing wrong with having that conversation with them. And now, as far as getting them their photos, first, biggest complaint I've heard from other people talking about other photographer friends, loved ones, whatever, is, it takes me forever to get my photos back. He takes the photos like 2 months later, you know, I finally get them back, or 3 months later if I ever get them back. It's very important that if you go ahead and take those photos, to really get that back to them as quickly as possible. It's family. They're always in a hurry to get the photos back, and that's not a problem. It really isn't. But we have to be diligent about this, because that's really kind of expect a professional care from you, even though they didn't pay for you. But it's very simple to just load the photos into your computer, run a quick filter over all of them. I have 3 to 4 different very generic, you know, slight improvement presets that I set to all the photos. I do whichever one looks best across the board, and then I export them. You are not doing this for money, so you can't really spend, you know, a lot of time on it. You can't do a week's worth of work for a zero amount of pay. That's not good business. And I'm sure your family doesn't want you to be stressing over something that is not making you any money either. So again, build a couple presets. This is what I do to make my turnaround time very fast for family. I build a few presets, I run them all the way across my film strip in Lightroom, I export them, I load them up on Dropbox, I send them a link on Facebook or through email, whichever one they prefer. And that makes the turnaround time literally probably about 15-20 minutes opposed to 3 to 4 weeks, or if not longer. You gotta be smart. Don't work harder, work smarter when it comes to family. Because again, you're not doing it for pay. If you're doing this for money, spend the time, edit every individual photo, do what you need to do in order to do the best job you can, because that's what you're getting paid for. But if you're not getting paid, you really got to look at that line between professional work and personal work. Now, another thing that I do is whenever I'm invited to a birthday party and I really don't feel like shooting, what I'll tell them I'll do, and this will not jive with everyone, and that's okay if it doesn't jive with you. It really is. I'll bring my equipment in the cases where I don't want to shoot. I'll still go ahead and bring my camera, but what I'll do is I'll tell them, listen, it's my day off, I don't really want to shoot, but I'll tell you what, I'll bring my camera. If anybody wants to pick up my camera, take photos with it, I'll set it for the easiest possible settings, and you guys can have at it. And then all I do is I take my cheapest camera, which is my 70D, and I take either my easiest to use lens or my cheapest to use lens, depending on who I think is going to be using my camera. And then I go ahead and load it up, and I show a couple people, listen, it's just like any other digital camera. Turn it on, point, and shoot. I set everything to automatic. Why? Because they're not professional photographers. I'm not there to teach them how to be professional photographers. They want to take some cute photos and they're worried about the look and the composition. Hey, I'm happy with that. I want them to take some really good shots with my gear. And that kind of gives them the opportunity to have professional gear, even though somebody else might want to take the photos, and it really takes a load off of you. And then what you can even do is just give them the SD card, or maybe use one of their SD cards. If you do that, I highly, highly, highly recommend you set it for JPEG, just because when they go to put it into their computer, depending on what version of Windows they have and what downloads they have and all that other stuff, they may not be able to read the CR2 files or .dng files from Nikon. So again, you want to make this flawless and idiot proof, not because I'm saying your family or friends are idiots. I'm just saying they don't want to deal with the hassle. That's why they don't buy those big cameras. That's why they don't get into the thousands of dollars of gear, is because one, it's expensive, two, it's very complicated. So simplify it for them. Set it to JPEG, set it to auto exposure, set it to single shutter, just because when they hold down the button, they'll take 7 of the same shot, and nobody wants that either. Set it to single shutter, and if you even want to go as far as when you go to hand them the camera, hit the button on the back so that way they have a display on the back. You can go ahead and do that too. The key is to make it easier for them. Don't be afraid to do work for family, but understand that you will have to do your work for your family differently. All right, well, I hope that was useful for you. Again, Do whatever work you want, but understand that if it's not paid for work, don't feel bad about cutting some corners. Just do what you need to do in order to get them some great looking photos without actually having to spend a great amount of time. So this has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro, and as I always do, toodles. Second thing is very important, and I feel like it's something that people kind of graze over, and that's itemize your gear. Find out how much every single piece of gear you have costs.
Nice front element. I don't know if you can see that. How beautiful that is. Let's open up the other side so you can see all the way.
Teens, if we wanted to see how much that's changed in the before and after shot.